Hello everyone, this is Blue. Now let's gonna do another round of app critique. To be honest, I didn't prepare of the app critique for this app at all, so this is my first time to go through this app. So hopefully we can do it smoothly. Okay, let's go. So today I'm gonna critique IKEA app. I'm pretty sure that all of you guys have buy something from IKEA before, right? This is online and offline store, furniture store, which actually provides so many different kinds of furniture and other I don't know, like home supplies. So let's take a look at this IKEA app. And this IKEA app is the online shopping application for selling furnitures to customers, right? Okay, and let's go. So the icon is the iconic yellow and blue combination. This is typical IKEA stuff, and personally, I like the simplistic style, and it's just using this minimal composition of like a color and font. And even though the font is relevantly small in this icon, but it's still readable. So, and regarding to the proposition, I think it's almost like a one, two-third, like two-third, around two-third, around the golden ratio. So I think that's why that it looks pretty fine. It looks pretty fine that horizontally, and I think one thing that I can critique is the contrast of these two color. So personally, I think the blue is a little bit too dark. And to stand out from all the other icons, I think if the color composition of this yellow and blue can be more I don't know, can be more like a strong, like maybe they can use brighter blue, and then in that way that this icon will stand out more. Okay, let's just continue because icon it doesn't really doesn't really matter to some extent. Okay, let's go. So if you click on this icon and then you go to the IKEA home screen, because I opened it before, so that's why that it's a little bit down. So let's just scroll up and go back to the default screen. So we can still see the IKEA icon in the search bar, and below that is the explore and the get inspired. Let's take a look at the other one. The other one is search, and it contains recently viewed and browsed by category. And then here is your account. So let me first critique this part. Typically, it's just using a very typical tab navigation, right? But usually, once there are like a 5-tab navigation, the account is the right hand most. Is the right hand most one, right? But in IKEA, it's just so different. It's put into the middle, and I have to say that it in most cases, if you don't have a strong reason to make an exception, then just I'll stress to not do it. And I think this behavior is not that expecting, right? So almost like all users will expect the account is at the right hand, not in the middle part. And also, I don't think this is a part the user will use pretty often. But of course, if I'm a designer in IKEA, I probably will take a look at data to see that which part they will visit most, and then decide the order of those tabs. But just based on my very shallow intuition or shallow knowledge, I think account is not used that much. And one excuse I can see is probably this IKEA family card will be used once the user just step into a physical store. But if that's the case, I think it's just still, this card is just why is hidden into the second level. If it's something that use pretty often, I think at least we can have some kind of for example, you can just show show it's expanded, or just make it I mean, it shouldn't be in the deeper level if it's used pretty often. If the use case is like the user goes to a store and once they want to check out, they take out their phone and they really want to use that what's that? It's like the code, the QR code, immediately. So in that way, I think it's just it shouldn't be in the deeper level. It shouldn't be in the second level. It should be in the first level, And also, even though that's the case, I think it's still not the strong reason, to put the account part here. And then let's just take a look at the layout of all those file tabs. So here is my favorites, and here is the card, right? My favorite, card, account, search, and then explore and get inspired. So all those file tabs, they are just they have different style except for the my favorite and the card. Well, let me just critique visual design first. Usually I like to critique feature, but to this case, I think it's I'm really wondering at why those file tabs share different styles. Like they just have their distinguished style. I'm really wondering about the data, whether the user will feel consistent, whether the user will feel understandable about this different style of each screen. So that's something I'm curious, and if I'm the designer, I think it's better to align the layout if they share, not share the same feature. I mean, like they share the same pattern, the interaction pattern. So once I say interaction pattern, is like, for example, here is explore and get inspired, right? So the user maybe they want to take a look at the feed. So the interaction pattern actually reflects the user's mental model about how to use it. So, for example, here, I think it's pretty intuitive that the user will feel like, once I see that, I probably need to scroll down, and then I will see a list of stuff, and then I can just tap it and then dive into the deeper level. So that's what I mean, the interaction pattern. So we can see the search is almost like the same, but why it looks so different from the explore and get inspired. I'm curious about that part, and also if you want me to be very picky, I don't understand why the title they are not aligned at all, and I think the font size are different too. Okay, and then let's go back to the home screen. So explore and get inspired. If I'm the designer, I really want to know what's the definition of this feature, and what's the user's goal for this feature. Is the goal like the user wants to get to know, or the user wants to have some idea about what they want to buy, and then to compare with that feature, whether the search means that the user already have some idea about what they want to buy, but they just want to have a loose search to compare the similar items and then make a decision. So I mean, it's nice to have this beautiful picture as the first feed, but I think if it's using this one as the home screen. But to be honest, if I personally, I think I'm a frequent user for Ikea. I like to buy stuff here. So personally, what I use the most is search. So I already have some idea about what I want to buy: a table, a sofa, or just some mugs, right? So so if I'm the designer, I really want to take a look at data to see which feature they wants to use most frequently. So if we found out like a search, this part is what they use the most frequently, then I probably will make it the home screen, rather than to have this nice look Instagram feed. But that's also it's necessary to consider a market side. So maybe they put it as the first screen because they want to have some like marketing value. It's like they want to sell the brand. They want the user to have a nice feeling about this furniture brand, the IKEA. So I think I mean like just I'm just I'm just representing the the user experience designer perspective. But I would like to hear what the market side will say. Okay, and then this feed is nice. It's using a big banner photo as the first photo, and it really draws your attention. And it's nice looking. It's a nice shoot photo, and then. Oh, this interaction is a little bit weird. Yeah. So I think once I played several times, I get the idea. So the white dot represents the product, right? I click it and then I can see the price, and then the brand, not like brand. I don't know, category. Yeah, category, and then I can just click it, dive into details, and I can still go back. So that's nice. But if I click it again, we can see that little popover is gone. And then just click it again, we can see that there's a little tag icon here. So this is like a toggle, right? Toggle to turn on the product or turn off the product. Personally, I think this is not that clear. But to be honest, I don't have a better idea at this moment. But I'm thinking first of all whether it's necessary, to hide all those white dots. I mean, like, so whether this picture, provides more information than this picture. So personally, I think if by default we just have all those dots, all those white dots there, and then if you click it and then the popover is showing up, and click it again, it's gone, and then that's enough. We don't really need to have a mode like this, but that's my intuition. If it's a real design case, I have to do the user test. And to see whether that's right. But I just have some question or some wonder about this feature. So, and then I just skip this part. In the shop at room or category, yeah. So, okay, it has a default category about all those inspiration. Sorry, I think the Wi-Fi is not that good. Let's go to the next part. And here, this part. Sorry, I just because I am worried that I may forget what I want to say, so I will just talk whatever came to my mind. Yeah. I think here this is the visual design. The visual design is nicely done because it's using this uniform light gray background, and in this way that we can easily see how the product looks, and then and another thing is this cropped image, because if it's showing the full image, and then the user probably won't notice. They can they can slide left and right. But if you just show half the image is cropped, and then it's pretty intuitive to know that okay, I can slide left and see more images, right? But this part I think is a little bit weird. Because if this is the category, can I say like a gallery? Yeah, this is the category gallery, and if you click here, I think it's a little bit too surprising to open a menu, right? To open a list of menu, and also like here the interaction is like horizontally, and you click it, then the interaction just goes to vertically. I think that part probably not that good. Yes, and also we can see that those two icons, not icon, those two like clickable areas, they trigger the same menu. So I don't quite see why it's needed. So what I expected is like you click here and then there will be more galleries. Like more images show up. Okay, collection. Collection is different. I don't know why it is like this, because there are only like 4 or 5 collections. And then how many categories do we have? Oh, we have a lot. Oh, I see why that the designer decided to use this vertical line, because if it's horizontally like horizontally gallery, then it will be very 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 like wide, or it's just like you have to slide. Like it's a Tinder, it's endless, right? But if that's the case, personally, I think why the designer didn't think about the vertical like like a vertical chevron arrow in something like that, and then you click it and there will be more images show up, something like that. Why the designer stick to this horizontal sliding show? And one reason probably be like the designer really want those two things to sit at this position, to sit at position vertically, all the time. But I don't think it's very harmful, to have a vertical feed rather than a horizontal feed. Yeah, but probably the reason is like the designer once they stay at the same position, and also here for the collection, he feels like the horizontal sliding show is pretty enough, and then maybe he can just use the same pattern for this browse by category. So if this is vertical, then this is also needs to be vertical. Well, one idea came to my mind is like you probably can do something like this. It's like you just for example, it's a stack. Yeah, it's like a stack. It's like a bunch of like cars, stay together, and then you can see that this is for example like 5 cars or 20 cars, and then if you click it, and all those cards will get expanded. It could be like on the top layer, so that the user will be focused. The user will focus on those cards and pick a card it wants to dive in. I'm just thinking other kind of animation that we can do to solve this problem. Right now the difficulty is like collections and the categories. The user wants to show them at the same page. Okay, here is another case. I think we also need to understand, as a designer, we need to understand why those two things have to be on the same page. Like why the user expect the collections will be after the category. We need to discuss with PO or PM to understand, or the researcher to understand why the user will expect something to be here under the search, right? Because collections could be also something that under here inspiration, right? Anyway, let's just assume this makes sense. And right now the difficulty is like there are only 6 collections, but there are like maybe 30 categories, and they are on the same page. We want it to be consistent, but also we want it to be like user friendly. So that was a difficulty. Yeah, one way I can think about is using animation or or at least I would prefer to get rid of this little. Maybe getting rid of this little arrow is not a good idea. Yeah, or maybe let's just skip this part. Yeah, I had the card animation, idea, and right now I cannot think about other idea, at this moment. Okay, let's just continue to the next part. Here, it's my account, and then the logout is at a very convenient place. That's very interesting because usually the logout is hidden somewhere because we don't want the user to log out. We want them to stay here forever. Wow, that's very evil, but let's think about it in another way. It's like an angel feature, right? Because we don't want the user to miss this this amazing product, this amazing furniture brand, right? And sorry, just my Wi-Fi got some problem. Yeah. Okay. In the only two Ikea family card and my address, they have the icon, and all the rest they don't have the icon. Interesting. I want to know that why. Oh, damn, it's frozen. Okay, I guess I can only critique, in a few minutes. I have to, close it in a few minutes. Well, today I feel like my speaking is so fragile, probably because, I didn't sleep well. Okay, I'll be better next time. Anyway, let's just continue. I think if the reason that the icon is there, that's just something that I assume. If the reason the icon was there is to make that one different from all the other ones, because that one is probably used pretty often in the physical store scenario, right? But all the rest, they just they are used once the user are at home. So we are talking about where the user wants to use those features. But if that's the case, I think the address one is not something that the user wants to use at the store, right? At a physical store. So I guess, yeah, okay. I guess, so I'm really wondering about why, those two are grouped together, but all the rest, they are just in another category. So personally, if that's the reason, if we want to make IKEA family card to stand out, once the user is in a different physical place in this different scenario, then we should only make this one stand out, rather than to make all the make these two to stand out, right? What's wrong with my mouth? Okay, let's continue. And then we have the my favorites and the card. Why is my favorites and then card? Why it's not my? Well, I'm not a native speaker, but I think my favorites and the card. Why it's not my card? Or favorite plus card? I don't know. And also, once we think about the favorites, so we need to know the overall user flow. So how would the user add the favorite stuff? I probably want to do a card sorting about their flow and to understand their mental model. So one way they can do it is like they search for an item and they found it for them, this one very interesting, and then they just save it. Just have some heart icon and then click it, and then they just save it into here, right? And another way is like over here they click this plus icon, and then this is a new list, and then here. Yeah, it's like here, can I just add another favorite stuff? I don't know. So I want to know what's the ideal user flow. And let's say that if the ideal user flow is like from here, and then they click the heart icon and then save it. And I guess here it will be mostly view mode. And then just a view would help what items have been saved, and the only action they can do will be like they want to put a saved item into cart or just delete them or something like that. So yeah, I think the key part is like I really need to understand the mental model about the user's understanding of this saved. This is my favorite feature. So why they need this feature, and so what they think about this feature, how they use it, like how they use it is like how would they save this favorite, and then after they save this favorite, how would they do with those items. But just based on my intuition, um, well, I think I don't know. Actually, I don't know that whether in the interview you should put so much different assumption. I probably want to ask the interviewer. It's like, hey, what do you think? So something like that. And then personally, I think my favorite and the card, they are used pretty often because the user may want to put the favorite item into the cart, because usually once they put it into favorites, usually the reason they put it into favorites is like it's too pricey at the moment, or it's like they cannot make the decision at the moment, something like that. So they want to just save it and think about it. So those two parts actually correlated. I really want to ask the interviewer, hey, what do you think? So why do you think those two features are actually isolated in this application, and if they are correlated, if they have more, I don't know, like a more closed relationship, would that be beneficial? I mean, once I say close relationship, is like we can just group them together, and so that the user can easily nav from this one to another one, and also we can have some like quick bulk action or something like that. And but that's just my assumption about the possible feature. But I still need to know what the user needs, right? Okay, and then I guess so we are almost like 27 minutes. Let's just quickly do some visual style, like visual design critique, because I think my strength is visual. Okay, so actually personally I think Ikea is doing good at the visual design part, even though there's some inconsistency about the layout, right, about the padding. But the icon, they are nicely drawn. They are very minimal, but they convey the message clearly. And also they are using this this like a thick line style icon. This is very trendy. In the and it's using the I think it's not like a 100% black. It's just a grayish black. This grayish black actually is is somehow like a softer compared to the 100% black. And then in other ways, like it just makes your eyes feel more comfortable once you're starting, once you're like taking a look at this application. And also we can see the layouts. Well, I don't have much to critique. Yeah, I think the visual design is fine. It's fine. Yeah, and I really like this bigger number. It stands out very much, and so that the user will focus on what's the subtle number. Yeah. Okay, nothing to critique. Damn. Okay, I'll try to do it another round. I think today I'm not very satisfied about my performance. Okay, let's keep practicing. Yeah, fighting.